We were not very clear about the sentiments of the people, whether they are with us or they are against us, or how their emotions would change over the period of time. When you talk about the Indian peacekeepers, we are very well known for our professionalism and our dedication that we put into our work. India has been providing troops to DRC ever since 1960, when the first mission was established, ONUG. Which was a stabilization mission. It was during that time when Captain G.S. Salaria, he made the supreme sacrifice of his life, and he was awarded the PVC award. And this is the only PVC that an officer has received while performing the duties in the UN peacekeeping. Any UN peacekeeping mission that comes in a country, it always comes by the demand of the government and the people. You cannot force such things. So I think, yes, if the country demands and the people want us, we would love to go there and support, because for us every mission is the same. I would ask them, why don't you go with your men and go in group?
Major Radhika Sen of the Indian Army was recently honoured with the Military Gender Advocate Award by the United Nations. Major Sen received the honour for her remarkable service in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Having served in the UN Organization's Stabilization Mission in the DRC, Major Sen's dedication to promoting gender equality and empowering women during the peacekeeping mission has earned her widespread recognition. Her impactful work has left a lasting impression on the local communities in the DRC and has set a benchmark for future peacekeeping endeavours. We're privileged to have Major Radhika Sen with us today to share her insights and experiences from working in the conflict zone. Welcome, Major Radhika. Thank you so much for taking out the time and speaking with us. Firstly, I would like to congratulate you for the award. Thank you for making the nation proud. Ma'am, my very first question to you is that if you had to tell us some of the challenges that you faced during the MONUSCO mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, what would those be?
Well, the very first challenge is what you face in a challenging mission is the freedom of movement. The time we stepped, there was anti-MONUSCO protest which was already going on in the area. So the freedom of movement was not just with respect to the rebel groups that were there in the area of operation, but also from the people. So we were not very clear about the sentiments of the people, whether they are with us or they are against us, or how their emotions would change over the period of time. So we had to be very careful, because at times we had faced stone pelting from the civilians. We had faced crowds gathering together and raising slogans against us. So that was one of the major challenges. If you talk about other small challenges, it would be since I'd gone as an engagement platoon commander, where I would be operating in the civil area, speaking to the people and having a look at the on-ground situation. So for me, it was very important that I have an engagement platoon and a team which is ready, which knows about the history, culture, traditions of the place, especially who know how to engage with the people who are traumatized. So that was another challenge. But when you talk about a country like India, which itself is, culturally rich and diverse, and the Indian Army soldiers have served all around in the country in such environments, so it helped me train my soldiers well.
Okay, and what were some of the efforts that were made to build trust, so to say, for in the people of Congo?
Okay, so when you talk about trust, it always has to come through a two-way communication. My major role was to get to know the concerns of the people and address them. And we used to speak to the key leaders of the society as well as the local people. So it was an endeavor for us that whenever we go the second time to carry out our engagement, we used to take the previous points and give them a true picture of how things have been working. If some points given by them are being addressed, or we have channelized them to the right UN organization or the NGO working for the same cause, or it is still in the channel of processing. So it is very important to have that true communication with them. This helped us. And second, we carried out a lot of employment skill training for the women and children and youth of the country. A lot of awareness lectures were also being taken by us. And also, if you talk about the people of Congo, they love playing football, right? So we organized a lot of friendly football matches with the women as well as the men outside. So these were the few efforts that we have taken so that, it helps us to build trust and they could come up to us with their problems.
Okay, and what is the kind of specific training that an Indian peacekeeping force undergoes before being deployed for a mission?
So what happens is there is something known as troop contributors, the contingents that goes, and then there is the military observers and the staff officers. So when we talk about the training of the contingent that goes, the troops, the other ranks in the JCOs, they undergo a 1-month training which is called the pre-deployment training, which is done at the unit level. And we tell the troops with respect to what is the history of the country, how a particular mission has evolved over the period of time, the culture, the ethnic groups that exist, what will be the specific role that they are expected to perform. They also make to go the on-ground training of how they are going to perform those duties like riot controls, etc. We also train them about different aspects of a mission like conflict-related sexual violence, the different organizations that are working. So that is a wholesome training. And before induction, there is, a validation which is done for any contingent that goes into the mission. But when you talk about the officers, we all together undergo a 2 weeks training under CUNPK, which is the Center for the Peacekeeping, United Nations Peacekeeping. And there we are taught about United Nations as an organization, the different civil agencies that are working. We are taught about the different missions all around the world. We are told about the case studies, the documentaries of the courses of the, of the situations that pertaining specially to our mission where we will be going. And that is the time, when we can have a full aspect, like with respect to how military works, how the civil agencies work, and get a wholesome picture of what we are expected to do in a mission.
Major Radhika, can you highlight some of the key contributions of the Indian forces in the Democratic Republic of Congo since their deployment?
So India has been providing troops to DRC ever since 1960 when the first mission was established, ONOC, which was a stabilization mission. It was during that time when Captain G.S. Salaria, he made the supreme sacrifice of his life and he was awarded the PVC award. And this is the only PVC that an officer has received while performing the duties in the UN peacekeeping. And ever since then, after establishment of MONUC in 1999 and then changing to MONUSCO in 2010, if I'm not wrong, our contribution has been there in the country. We have been deploying our troops, showing our presence with respect to our major mandate, which is the protection of civilians. We have been supporting the government in carrying out the stabilization of the situation there. We have been doing capacity building by supporting their judicial system, by supporting their socio-economic infrastructures. We have been reaching out to the people through our engagement platoon and various military observers who are out there in the mission to get to know their concerns. We are also dealing with the humanitarian concerns where we direct the concerns of the people to the requisite organization which are working there. We have helped people to evacuate them during Op Niaragongo in 2019 when the volcanic eruption happened. So it is different ways where we are trying to support the people of DRC, support the government of DRC altogether.
Also, Major Radhika, if I have to ask you, how is the deployment in the Democratic Republic of Congo different for the Indian peacekeeping forces than any other deployment?
Any UN peacekeeping mission, if you say, the challenges that we face is more and less the same. The freedom of movement will not be there, some disturbances from the public side. But I would say when you talk about the Indian peacekeepers, we are very well known for our professionalism and our dedication that we put into our work. And we are very sought after in any mission if you talk about. So being an Indian peacekeeper has always helped us even in our mission when we try to go out and reach out to the people because people like associating with us.
Okay. And as you said, ma'am, you worked very closely with the local communities there. You've worked closely with the women there, you've helped empower them, you've helped set up things to empower them. Now, what I wanted to understand from you is that, is there an experience, an encounter with one of the locals there or some of the locals there that has stuck with you, that still is there with you?
Yes, I would say every day for me was an experience which you cannot imagine. So when we started interacting with the local women in the areas, civil areas, we came to know that they were not very open with respect to their thoughts, and a lot of them demanded for a safe space. So what we used to do, once a month we would invite around 50-60 women inside our UN bases and try to communicate with them. So this was the time a lot of women have spoken about the sexual violence that has happened to us, how over the period of time they have overcome the trauma. And we've also heard about the cases where women have fought back an armed militant, right, to save herself. So these were the times when first we listened to their problems. We, from our side, gave them suggestion of how to go about things, and also we, pushed the women to find a solution amongst themselves. So it was a very nice, environment altogether, where you are listening to problems, giving them a solution. And while all this was over, towards the end, the women will come together and they would say, now can we please have some music, and can we dance? And they love dancing on Bollywood songs, say. So it is like a mix, all together package, knowing the problems, giving the solutions, and also having a good time to them. So they have taught me, like, irrespective of whatever life shows you, right, you'll always have to find a way to be happy, and small things can also make big difference.
Okay. And Major Radhika, what would your day look like during the mission while you were deployed in the Democratic Republic of Congo?
Yes, so I was a part of a contingent. So once a week there would be some engagements planned. In case there is some, if we have less engagement outside because of the situation, we would call for a key leaders meet. We would invite the leaders from the surrounding areas into our bases and speak to them. If nothing, we also have employment skill training for the people. So during 12:30 we used to get done with our engagements. Post lunch we used to start with our training, like we had the English training cadre. Children used to get free from their schools around 2 o'clock. So we used to invite them from 2:30 to 4:30. We would spend time training them on the English training. And then towards the end, we have our own games parade that would start. We would go to gym. And yes, that is how it goes.
Okay, so you're saying you guys taught them English.
Yes.
Did you also learn their native language?
We tried to learn French a bit, and the initial part, of course, we were able to. We tried learning Swahili, but again, it's a mixture of Swahili and French, which we got confused in. But yes, French we got a hold on, and that is how we used to introduce ourselves as we go out in the civil areas.
How would you introduce yourself in French?
Okay. Bonjour, je suis Radhika, comment tu t'appelles? So something of this sort.
Okay. Now, Major Radhika, what are some of the major humanitarian challenges that the people of the Democratic Republic of Congo are facing currently?
When we talk about humanitarian concerns, we need to understand it is like one of the most poorest country. The poverty is there. People do not have food security. The clean drinking water is not there. The health facilities are extremely poor, and Democratic Republic of Congo is one of the country which faces, a large number of epidemics like pandemics we have seen over the period of time. So a lot of crises have come together along with the armed conflicts, in the country.
And what were some of the most rewarding aspects of your deployment during the MONUSCO mission?
The best part was I got to be there as engagement platoon commander, and it is one of the appointment which helps you to directly go into the civil areas and get to see the life of the people. So not just I get to know the problems of the individuals there, but I also get to help them in some way or the other to come over the problems. That was the best and the most satisfying aspect of my job.
Now we see a war-like situation is also developing in Lebanon, right? Peacekeepers have been deployed there. How do you see the situation unfolding? How do you think that the peacekeepers can help in the best way?
I don't think I will be in the right position to speak about Lebanon, because I have done most of my job in MONUSCO, and my communication with the troops and the officers who were there deployed in Lebanon was very limited. But I'm sure everyone finds a way of how to do their best while being in the kind of situation, and people will be doing their best in the mission as well.
Okay, Major Radhika, what do you see as the biggest challenges and opportunities for lasting peace in the DRC?
The biggest challenge at present is the humanitarian crisis that exists. There's no food, stability, no water. The health system is really bad. And, the women are really suffering, where there's lack of proper health care for the mothers, and there are no sanitary pads and all. So things are really bad if you talk about the humanitarian crisis. Other than that, it's in the armed conflict areas. People are also suffering a lot of violence, which the international organization should be focusing on. If we talk about establishment of peace in such places, it is very important to have all-inclusive and a cohesive peacekeeping. where you need to have dialogues and negotiation carried out with all the peacekeeper, all the stakeholders in a mission, especially when we talk about the marginalized groups. It is not just important to focus on the violence aspect or the immediate help relief from the violence, but also we have to focus on the things which are causing those violences. So this is the time when the international organization should actually pull in and support the government in carrying out the negotiations and supporting their socio-economic infrastructure, the judicial system, and supporting the people to provide them some help.
Like you mentioned, there are people who have faced sexual violence there, and you told me about people who have overcome it in brilliant ways. If you could share one of such inspiring stories that you came across.
I remember there was this girl in her 20s, I guess. She came up with a story where an armed rebel entered her house and he tried to molest her and force him onto her. So she really fought back. Of course, she got injured in between. She fought back, ran from her house and saved herself. So we try to call her to the subsequent meetings where, she can inspire people, because what happens is as soon as you see somebody with a weapon, you automatically surrender, right? So we try to teach them that no, you have to fight. So major cases which used to come to us when people used to, the rape cases that used to come to us was when people go out from their villages or the IDP camps to the jungles to collect firewoods. It just strikes you like how to help them, what possible means how can you teach them, to be strong and fight back. That is what my aim was. So stories are many like this, but this is a few that I preferred sharing.
Okay. And we believe you have achieved your aim. And congratulations again. Congratulations for the award. Thank you for making India proud.
Thank you so much.
Lastly, Major Radhika, I would just ask you if you could tell our viewers what motivated you to join the forces.
I always wanted to serve my country, and though I was pursuing my MTech, and this opportunity came to me where I cleared my SSB and I also got my name in the merit list. So there was no looking back. I think there's no better way to serve a country than being a part of the armed forces. And on top of that, I always loved doing the humanitarian work. So Indian Army also gave me a chance to do that, serve another country while representing your country. So I think there's nothing more I could have ever asked, and it's a lovely feeling altogether.
Okay, and if I have to ask you to just send out a message to the youth of the nation, could you please do that?
Yes, I would say be responsible human beings and be responsible citizens. I think it is very important for us to have one aim in life which is beyond our personal gains. And we should work towards it slowly and one step at a time, and we should motivate others to do that. If we keep doing this, I'm sure the world will be a better place. And for all the young girls who actually want to, join Indian Army, I think there is no better organization. And in case they think it is in them, and we are open, we are welcoming you with open arms.
Thank you, Major Radhika, for shedding light on your experiences and for your unwavering commitment to the peacekeeping efforts. And to our viewers, I would just like to add that if you would want to watch more such content, don't forget to subscribe to the Hindustan Times YouTube channel. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.